Welcome, everybody. And thank you for being here. And I especially want to thank you for your practice, for your sincerity. I was thinking today that if I were looking for a word to describe or characterize our far-flung meditation community of practitioners, I think I'd pick sincerity. So let's begin by taking a moment to recognize where we are in this particular community, with each person sincerely doing their best to practice meditation and to walk in the footsteps of the Buddha. So I'm sending out to you a silent expression of appreciation for the sincerity that each of you is bringing to our practice together. If you like, feel free to take a moment to do the same. So far this week, we've cultivated 3 of the wholesome mind states that prepare the mind for awakening, for allowing the full impact of this Dharma practice to come alive in our own hearts. These qualities of mind are receptivity, softness, and being free of self-centered preoccupations, free of the hindrances which function as barriers, obstructions to awakening. And when we have just a brief moment when the thinking mind is taking a break from all the commentary, I think perhaps the most natural response to that is gladness. Because now the mind is ready for the sunlight, fresh air, and spaciousness of the Dharma to reveal itself to us moment by moment. So let's begin by setting our intention for this meditation. So what is your deepest wish for how this practice could benefit both yourself and others? And now taking your meditation posture, feeling the contact with the earth, and sending your roots down deep into the earth, letting it support you. Aligning the spine so that the energy flows freely. You might think of opening the lower chakra in the perineum to receive the energy of the earth, and the topmost chakra at the crown of the head, where there's a little space between the plates of the skull, opening that to the heavens, allowing the energy of the sky to come inside as well. It's good if your posture gives you a feeling of stability. And now begin relaxing the body, scanning down from the head, relaxing the shoulders, the arms, the hands and the fingers, the torso and the belly, the hips, the legs, the feet and the toes. And taking a long, deep, slow breath. And relaxing into the process of breathing. And as we stay with the breath, we can let the breath, awareness of the breath, be slightly in the background and just do a few minutes of loving kindness meditation, metta. Creating a safe space where we're protected by this warm-hearted feeling of well-wishing towards ourself and all beings. May I and all beings everywhere be safe and protected. May all beings everywhere, including me, be happy, be peaceful, and free. And with this warm-hearted well-wishing, we bring in the wisdom to vow that we'll sit quietly, quiet body, quiet mind, leaving our preoccupations outside the door. And now bringing the breath back into the foreground and connecting with the breath, the flow. Breathing in, noticing the felt sensations of the beginning of the breath and the continuation of the in-breath, the pause at the top, which gives way to the out-breath. And as that flows down with a pause at the bottom. Sometimes I enjoy thinking about the cycle of the breath as an oval of energy and flow. So closing the eyes, you can imagine the in-breath beginning at the base of the spine in the back and reaching its end at the top of the head. And then the out-breath flowing down the front of the body, reaching its end in the perineum. So just staying with the breath, flowing in and out. and giving your breath as an offering to your mindfulness, as a beautiful, non-static object of meditation, constantly changing. Perhaps you may feel it flowing up the back and down the front. If it feels right to you, lighting a little candle of gladness in the heart. Breathing in, welcoming gladness. Breathing out, spreading gladness as far as it wishes to go. But if you're struggling with loss, depression, despair, hopelessness, fear, I trust you have the wisdom to know that repressing your emotional state is counterproductive. And if that's the case, recognize your pain. Perhaps you can appreciate just being here in a safe space, breathing. Inviting gladness on the in-breath, radiating gladness on the out-breath. And like all these wholesome states, states like gladness exist in a wide spectrum. So if you're really free of the hindrances, you might feel elated. But if life is difficult right now, then you might just be able to access a little hint of gladness. And that's fine. That's to be honored. Or you could try these metaphrases. May I live with an open heart. May whatever clouds my heart be dispelled. So if you feel that support would be beneficial to you, please go ahead and do the well-wishing of living with an open heart and letting whatever clouds there be dispelled. Perhaps we can be satisfied just to be here. A sincere practitioner in this spot on planet Earth, breathing. Breathing in, welcoming whatever gladness may be present, and allowing yourself to feel it. And breathing out, sharing it with all beings. And by staying contentedly with the flow and ebb of the breath, allowing yourself to perhaps glimpse the freedom that is possible when the mind and the body settle down, even for just a moment. Perhaps you can be glad that, wow, this freedom is possible, even for me. And in this openness, breathing in, radiating gladness inside, breathing out, radiating gladness, giving it away. And as we come to the end of this sitting, with a mind that has benefited from appreciating some of the goodness in ourselves and in our world, and through the goodness of our practice, may we, from our center of appreciation and gladness, now radiate our heartfelt wish that all beings everywhere be safe. May we all be happy. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be free. And may our meditation practice help us to contribute to the safety, happiness, peace, and freedom of all beings everywhere. Greetings, Dharma friends. I'm very glad to be here with you. And this is the fourth talk this week on the theme of opening the Dharma heart. The early Pali texts talk about opening the Dharma eye when a follower of the Buddha awakens and fully penetrates and realizes the Dharma from themselves. And what's necessary for this insight to happen is to understand the truth of how things really are. The wonderful artist Marc Chagall said, "If I create from the heart, nearly everything works. If from the head, almost nothing." And I believe this is especially true for everyone who has suffered greatly. I talked earlier this week about this Dharma practice as a process of sculpting ourselves as though we're creating a beautiful work of art, where more and more through our practice, we become a force of beauty and goodness for both ourselves and others. So I think I coined this expression, opening the Dharma heart, which, by the way, is not canonical, because for me, opening the mind was not enough for getting ready for the insights that give rise to liberation. I had to progressively, little by little, over a long time, learn how to open the heart. And this wasn't going to happen if I couldn't fully accept myself, warts and all. So the heart had to open for the mind to be able to settle down, in my case, to be comfortable resting in moments of emptiness, and to open the doors and windows to let in the sunlight and spaciousness of the Dharma. Like many of you, I'm a creature of this Western culture, and it's quite intuitive for me to distinguish between the mind and the heart. But this may not have been the case for the disciples of the Buddha. It's fascinating that chittang, the word in Pali that means mind, also means heart. And even today, when you ask someone in the Indian subcontinent to point to their mind, most people will put their hand on their heart. So this week, we're talking about the qualities of mind that the Buddha held as valuable in preparing for awakening. We've seen that we need to cultivate receptivity, making space in the mind to receive the Dharma. We need a soft mind, which in Pali is mudu. And when I talked about this on Tuesday, I mentioned that the etymological root mud means not only soft, but also happy. And then I went for a walk afterwards, and I had sort of a mental light bulb, and I said to myself, but of course, when the mind is soft, even temporarily, if it really doesn't have sharp edges, one can't help but feel happy. So it completely makes sense, actually, that the root of this quality could evolve into either softness or happiness. And yesterday we evoked the quality of having a mind that is free of preoccupations. Again, even just temporarily. And likewise, the absence of the hindrances is naturally a source of gladness because we're no longer slaves to our preoccupations. What a relief. We can be here in the present moment with more agency when the hindrances are not pushing us around. And moments like that are really moments of freedom. And this taste of freedom leads naturally to the quality that we'll evoke today. So the Pali word for today's wholesome quality is udaga, which comes from the prefix ud and the word aga. And ud means upwards. And aga has a number of different meanings. As an adjective, it means highest, foremost, supreme, ultimate, superb. And as a noun, peak, top, conclusion, result. So this may sound a little abstract, but in fact, udaga is usually translated as elated or inspired. It can also mean enraptured or exalted. And this kind of intense rapture is an early phase of deep concentration in meditation. And in this context, I think it's important to recognize that there may be dangers if when we experience being elated like this, it can be pretty enrapturing. And it could become a preoccupation in itself if we cling to the intense pleasure that it produces. And I think this quality, the way the Buddha was intending us to welcome it, is more a quality of being inspired in a way that allows the mind to settle. So that the dregs can filter out and we have the genuine clarity to be able to receive these insights. So we don't want to be captured by being elated. And as I said earlier, all of these wholesome qualities exist on a broad spectrum. And they're of course, easier to access on a long meditation retreat. But it's worthwhile tuning into and recognizing even subtle occurrences of them during our daily meditation and daily life. As the Buddha teaches in the Dhammapada, all experience is preceded by mind, led by mind, made by mind. Speak or act with a corrupted mind, and suffering follows, as the wagon wheel follows the hoof of the ox. All experience is preceded by mind, led by mind, made by mind. Speak or act with a peaceful mind, and happiness follows, like a never departing shadow. That we're constantly creating our experience by what we focus on. And the news is full of disasters and unethical behavior. But it's worthwhile taking the time to make space in the mind for what inspires us. Perhaps we can think of the courage and generosity of all the rescue workers in Ukraine and Turkey and Syria and elsewhere in the world who risk their own lives to help others. And in our meditation practice, even if we have short moments of receptivity, softness, and malleability, and the freedom from being pushed around by our preoccupations, just a tiny moment of that is worth celebrating. And for me, to have confidence that this dharmic path I'm trying to walk is the right place to be brings me great gladness. I know that I'm in good hands. I know I'm on the right track. And it's okay to walk this path, even with imperfections. So I hope you can take that in and trust yourselves to be worthy practitioners. Don't be impatient. This Dharma path is made for slow bloomers as well as fast bloomers. And there really is space for all beings to be here. So we can be inspired by tasting and celebrating even short moments of being free of the hindrances. So as you open your hearts and minds in your meditation practice and in your mindfulness throughout the day, be sure to honor those tastes of freedom and let them bring you gladness. So that's your homework. Making peace with who you are and recognizing and even letting yourself be inspired by whatever tastes of freedom are offered to you moment by moment. Thank you for your practice. May your day be sprinkled with moments of gladness and may your practice inspire you.